Oh,
I'm
hey,
very
we're here,
excited.
by the way.
Yeah, I noticed.
We
but
are in it
no.
now.
The future is now, people.
Norman's quiet again somehow. Do you
Wake
know which
up.
channel you are?
Channel
You're
3. Someone put me in 3.
We all are.
Yeah. So will you turn
Yeah,
yourself
ignore
up
that
a little
joke. That's for the best.
Okay.
Ha
How about
Don't laugh. Don't. That makes it worse. That makes me hurt more.
All right. What's up? How you looking?
the future is now, people.
Hey, Norman.
Okay, I think we're good.
What's up?
Would
No,
you-
Don't even start with this nonsense.
Would you ever eat someone?
I'm here to dive further into the question, would you ever eat someone?
Legally, I'm not allowed to answer that.
We just made a
Tanner and I
Tanner and
had a
Emily
moment.
joke that it's fine. Don't worry about it. Anyway,
It's fine. I just feel left out. Whatever.
it's fine. We'll go eat someone together after
You know
this.
what?
and
You know how many references you guys make that just go way over my head? I finally
them.
had one.
Anything from a movie ever, except Creature. You've
I've seen
Creature
Creature.
now.
With 3 different pairs of boobs.
Did it disappoint? after what I
Absolutely not.
said?
Oh,
Oh.
God, no.
So good.
It was actually way better than I thought it would be. Like, it was actually watchable. Like, even if you didn't think it was terrible.
It was-
Which it was terrible. But if
It
you
was
went
passable.
in,
The
it was
effects
passable.
weren't bad. Like the creature effects
Creature
weren't
was
bad.
pretty good. Too many boobs for a movie
Welcome
that was
back
made
to
in
the movie
2011.
review podcast. Yeah, I'd say so. But I think that's what they were going for. Also,
It was very campy.
You and Bailey talked about how weird it was that she did that to her dad, but I think it's actually less weird that it was her dad than it would have been if it was a random trucker because of who she is.
She did what?
Yes. She flashed.
I'll just let you.
She
They're
I'll let
flashed
you
her
borrow.
dad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll let you borrow the movie.
Dude, it's worth a
I don't-
watch.
Well, I have the all digital Xbox now, so I don't have a.
You don't have a DVD
I
player.
don't have a. No.
What?
Why
Okay.
would I need a DVD player?
I don't know.
There's
Why would you
everything
need-
is on the
Why
internet.
would you need another box under your TV that won't accept any input?
Yeah. I'm not down with the all digital.
Like I just.
Just get
Welcome to
Stadia.
C3.
I
at
guess I
that
have a
point.
laptop. Whatever.
I was gonna say something else. I don't remember. Oh, last night on stream when I was streaming, a guy was like, "All right, have you seen this movie?" And I said, "No."
Are we FaceTiming someone?
No.
Who did we just hang up on?
Oh, it's my
Brother?
brother.
Okay.
I forgot to tell him that I was doing this, so he's probably like worried sick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is he here now?
Yeah, he lives. Yeah, he lives with me.
Y'all all live here? Like your whole family?
No, just me
You
and
from
my
here?
just my brother.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, he moved down here.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
but the rest of them, San Antonio, Houston.
Yeah. He's a cool guy. You should bring him around more.
He's all right.
Yeah, he's
He's
alright.
fine.
He's all right.
He first time I met him, he was like, "Oh, you're the one who streams," and I was like, "That's all I need.
I feel valid.
That's all I need."
I wonder what. Never mind. I wonder what people say when they meet me. Oh, you're the one that. Yeah. Yeah, that's me.
Oh yeah, you've seen my work.
Yes. Mild disappointment. Exactly what I was going for. Should we jump right in? We haven't done this in a little bit. Oh, we took a break for
Merry
the holidays
Christmas, Happy New Year,
or whatever you do. You know, happy solstice.
good morning, everybody.
Yeah, I was like way too plastered to do any recordings.
Yeah,
I wasn't.
I
I
was
was actually
just-
just at home.
Yeah,
I actually
was
got like
just,
really sick.
busy.
for a
I
while.
had the flu. Wait, you recorded without me when I had the flu. That's
Yeah.
right.
No, we
I
didn't.
honestly forgot. I listened to the episode.
Oh,
Was Emily's mom on it? No, that's
No.
after.
No, what are you talking
which
about?
one did we do
I
without
had
you?
the flu like a month ago.
Was that yours?
Oh, it was mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Glad we figured that out.
Yeah.
We wasted everyone's time with that.
tell me I'm crazy. Come on.
So, let's talk a little bit about.
I think I'm gonna get like an iPad stand
That'd be pretty cool.
Just get a music stand.
and a microphone stand.
You know,
And-
in this
You look
this
pretty
high rise apartment in L.A., you would
LA.
think, a lot. You would think that we would have like a microphone stand or like
We
iPhone.
got perfectly.
Well,
good
I usually
hands.
just use my butler, but
Right,
I gave him today off
of course.
for no reason in particular.
How generous.
You know, the beautiful view of
Keats has been good to me.
the beautiful view of the city is really. Can we close those curtains?
It's a little blinding.
It's
It's
getting
a
getting
little
bright.
Beautiful sunlight.
Cool.
It certainly doesn't smell like river all over this town. Anyway,
I live on the wrong side of town to justify it.
Oh, I live on the other side of the railroad
I
tracks.
live- No, on the highway. Also, I guess
every part of this town is the other
Yeah,
side of the
that's what I was
railroad
saying.
tracks. All this town is railroad tracks.
and hills.
One time, I got stopped at 3 trains.
Dude,
Yeah.
I was
On my way
coming
to work.
home from Target the other night. I was going over to Bailey's, and there was one train, and it was finally almost over. And then on the track right next to it, another train started going the same direction. And it's like,
They
wait,
were
this isn't
racing.
even. Yeah.
It was
Let me tell you who lost.
a
Me.
game of Brewster's Millions. Just 2 billionaires racing to the other side of the continent.
Brewster's Millions.
Let me tell you, there were no winners. We were just stuck. I was literally just at that train thing for like,
I bet there was
Train
an
stop for,
ocelot
like,
on that
7
train
minutes.
somewhere.
just looked like a lot of coal to me, but.
Babu!
What?
Oh man, there's a lot of references that I'm not getting. I'm sure.
I think
Archer
I caught a couple
and
of them.
rich people from the 1800s.
Okay.
I caught one of them. It wasn't Archer.
I recommend Archer if you haven't seen it.
We talked about it
It's very good.
in real life.
I used a screenshot of it today as a joke that I think was received very well.
I'm not sure about it then. Anyway,
So what we got going on today, guys?
I am going to tell you...
Oh wait,
A
introductions.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
yeah.
I'm Norm.
I'm Tanner.
I'm Emily.
No special guest today though.
It's weird. It almost feels like he's just a part of it, you know?
Yeah.
Super
And also
special
just no
guest.
actual special guest.
Oh, yeah, that
Yeah,
too.
that too. This is the smallest it's ever been since like our second episode.
Yeah, I
Actually,
think
no.
so. I think one was just me and Norman.
No,
No,
Bailey was there.
here.
Yeah.
Bailey was there. And then I was on the next one, but so was Bailey. And I've been on every episode since except
The
that
sick
one.
Yeah, I think this is the smallest it's
When I
been.
got sick. Yeah.
Man, we are wasting a lot of time figuring stuff out tonight.
Well,
just
before our
fix it.
production meeting.
Just fix it in post. Cut
Oh
that.
yeah, that is what I do.
Yeah.
So I've got actually a pretty
Oh,
long
wow.
topic today.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. So today I'm gonna tell y'all about a little guy.
That's a boot for
Called-
Canadians.
Can't
a
say
boot.
that.
Yes, a boot. Anything else you'd like to add?
I said you can't say that when you called him a little
I'm
guy.
sorry. We said that we're gonna try to wane the interruptions. So
No, we said we would Wayne talking over each other. We
Oh,
never
right.
said a thing
We're
about
giving
interruptions.
each other plenty of time. A little guy
Can't say that.
called
Thank you.
H.H. Holmes, America's first serial killer, as the legend goes. So we're going to talk about the legend first, because it's a good one, honestly. I mean, that's what got me researching it.
Very neat.
Yes.
Emily, you already know who this is, right?
Obviously.
Okay, I have no idea who this is.
Okay, cool. So that'll be fun. So this was tricky to write because when I started researching and trying to put pen to paper, I could not format this in a way that was coherent, no matter how much I tried, because this man was wild.
He got busy.
He did, but maybe not in the ways you think.
Ooh.
So, and also probably in the ways you think. So I'm gonna read what I've got. And so first we're gonna do the legend as I heard it before I started researching, right? Because
Right.
that's the common
Yeah.
version of it. So he was a doctor who worked at a deal at a funeral home next door to practice on their bodies that came through. And
Quick
a lot
question.
of people say that he... Huh?
Did they get the family's consent, or was the funeral home just like
the
it's
1800s?
chill?
Consent wasn't invented until at least the
Yes.
19.
That's
Okay. We're gonna breeze past that.
Yeah, I've decided not to say anything else.
What, am I wrong? All right.
Stop. I said I was gonna not say anything else. Let's move on.
So he worked out a deal with the funeral home to practice on their bodies because he was a doctor.
Now, the living ones are the workers or the dead
No,
ones?
the dead ones.
Okay.
I think the workers were probably just like one old dude. Anyway, this is all just the
Fair
legend part of it. Anyway,
that was supposed to be a joke.
so
but you answered it
apparently,
seriously, and I appreciate
I
that.
know. I just took it like I have a dry. It doesn't matter. So
It's going really well.
apparently, he would use his access to the funeral home to dispose of bodies unnoticed. That was the big thing. He would just kill extra people and take them to the place where they burn all the bodies at the funeral home. You know.
How does that conversation go?
No, he didn't have the conversation. He said, "Can I practice on him?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, here's a key."
Oh, okay.
And then now he's got
Just like,
access
hey,
to the body burner.
it turns out they were twins.
They were quintuplets, not identical or the same age.
Or the same age. Or anything else. But you gotta trust me.
Man, you made me lose my place. Now I don't know where it was. I should have taken like less detailed notes so I could just because now I have it all pretty well memorized. After I spent 4 hours typing this out today.
Wow.
Yeah,
Look at
and
you.
2 weeks researching it before that. So if it
Whoa.
isn't good, don't tell me. I don't want to know. But remember the funeral home thing because we're gonna come back to that later. That's gonna come up. His bloodlust grew until eventually he constructed a large hotel full of gas chambers and trapdoors and false walls and lethal
Murder
traps
rooms.
and murder rooms, a la Jigsaw, or the Collector, whichever one you like.
Yeah.
So he used his murder castle to kill up to 200 people. That's the number that comes up on Google if you Google it. 200 people. But he only claimed 27, which is still a lot to take credit for.
Yeah, but that's kind of like if you have the if you're in his position and they're like, "Wow, you killed 200 people," and you're like, 27. What? Like, why wouldn't you just go, "Yeah, oh yeah,
Oh yeah, most definitely. That was me.
Can
Yeah.
I say a weird metaphor that came to mind?
Yeah.
Where it's like you have, if I'm like, Tanner, I just ate like you walk into the kitchen, right? And you see like a
You've
completely
eaten
empty
200 bags of jelly beans.
Well, I was going to
Very
say like
clearly.
Well,
you see me and like I have like an empty jar of mayo in my hands, right? And I'm like, and you're
Come
like,
on,
wow,
Norman.
you ate a whole jar of mayo? I'm
Mayo?
like, no, man, I ate half a jar of mayo. It's still pretty bad.
that's still not good.
Still not great.
Yeah.
I still have trust issues now from you.
Wait, mayo? I don't even own a jar of mayo.
I don't even like mayo.
Okay.
I do, but not straight. I like it on sandwiches. Let the record
Does
show.
anyone like it straight?
Yes.
Yes, people.
Who's doing shots of mayo?
Usually white girls, to be honest.
Oh.
They'll just have a spoon.
Oh.
Because
Trying to
you know how like
That's more
sometimes you
disturbing
just-
than this story is.
I don't
gonna
know if you do this or if this is just me, but
What is your
like,
ethics?
You just take a spoon
Mayo
and
bad.
a jar of peanut butter. You just go ham on it.
Be. I'll do like one spoonful.
Yeah, I'll do like 3 and then I'll call it a day.
Yeah.
But like in
every
my
now and
head,
then.
I'm like, this whole jar is mine, and then I don't. But like,
Well,
people
it's
do that
hard.
with
Your mouth
mayo.
gets sticky and
People do that with mayo.
Yeah.
that's gross. I wish I didn't know that.
You're welcome.
So 200 people.
I really brought the horror tonight.
Allegedly killed most of his people during the 1893 World's Fair in Chicago. That's where his hotel was. It was right next to the
Chicago?
World's Fair. Chicago. So when he was caught, he allegedly, this is all still legend, showed no remorse and claimed to have been born with the devil in him.
We've all
Yep.
been there.
Yeah, that's Saturday. His
Welcome to San Marcos.
Saturday night, Sunday
So-
morning, you're with the Lord.
While he rotted in prison awaiting execution, his face began to morph and twist, and he began to resemble the demon that he claimed to be until, he died. But his legend still continues today because his descendants have actually claimed to have found diary entries in which he claimed to have avoided his execution and moved to London, where he started to murder prostitutes and took on the name Jack the Ripper.
That's cool. I mean, not cool, but
Well, yeah.
Interesting.
Cool for
It's
our standards.
interesting that, cool for our standards. There's been a lot of books and movies and adaptations and documentaries. Any supernatural-themed Monster of the Week show that you do has done an episode on it. I know Supernatural did a really interesting one where they went to the murder castle and shot him with a bunch of rock salt out of shotguns like they do.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah. And beat him. That's how they beat him. And this is the part that we were talking about earlier. There is a book about this called The Devil in the White City. It's pretty popular. It came out about 17 years ago, I guess. It's being adapted right now for a Hulu limited run series starring Leonardo DiCaprio as H.H. Holmes. And it was the inspiration for the town, the map, the setting in BioShock Infinite. Yes.
There was hair in my mouth. Sorry.
What is BioShock Infinite?
It is a video game.
Oh.
Yes.
Why did we say that the same way?
Because I didn't have anything funnier to say.
Fair enough.
So, but that's, I mean, nothing, but it's cool,
Yeah, no, it is
it's
cool.
neat. That's
the
why
whole
I did
story.
this.
Good work, Tanner.
That's the whole story. Now, here's the real story. Here we go.
Well, okay, so before you dig into the real story, so I mean, I don't know, what was your thoughts? How old were you when you even heard about it?
I probably would have been a young teenager.
Yeah.
Whenever that episode of Supernatural came out, probably.
Okay.
It's probably when I started looking into it. Didn't do a whole lot of research. Just rolled with everything that I heard someone else say.
Yeah.
You know how
As
you
do.
Yeah. That's
how
what
I get most of my information.
I've heard some things that I just repeat as if they're fact now.
Yeah.
That I've never once taken the time to look up.
Yeah.
So
that's just society.
Speaking of, Pluto's a planet again.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
When?
They voted and it's back.
They voted. You can't vote. That's science. You don't vote on science.
They voted and it's back. Look it up. I didn't. I just saw a headline. Anyway. Actually, I saw a meme and it was Jerry from Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
And they called me a madman. Whatever that's from, I can't remember.
I have a T-shirt somewhere that says, "When I was a kid, Pluto was a planet."
That's good.
It's a very good shirt.
Is it true? I feel like you're actually too young for that to be true.
You probably are.
No.
Because I remember when it was declassified, but I was young.
Vaguely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was probably I was in early elementary school.
I was in my 20s.
You are not that much older than me, old man.
Norman was already in his 70s at that point. So, can we go? Are we ready?
That's it. That's all I got.
Okay. No, that's good. I just want to make sure. If you have questions, feel free to ask questions.
Does that match up with kind of what you heard, or did you hear it straight from fact?
I mean, I've heard a big mix.
Yeah, and that's going to come up in this. Actually, the actual report is an amalgamation of 8 or 9 different sources that I was reading, and none of them, they all agreed on key points, and I hit those. And then the ones that naturally followed or came up a couple of times, I hit those too.
Yeah, to be fair, I just look into this stuff for funsies.
Yeah.
Before we started this. So, I know a lot about it.
Yeah.
But, I haven't looked into it in probably 2 years, so.
I bet I might still surprise you with something.
Well, hit us with it, Tanner.
I was surprised.
Hit me with it.
So, I gotta find my notes again.
Man, that whole build up.
So after doing research, actually, I was kind of sad at what I found because it wasn't the legend that I had heard.
People. They were both accidents.
Please tell me
That's one
fact is
version.
stranger than fiction.
He just rolled his eyes at me at my funny joke.
It was funny. But like there are actually 2 people that are canonical victims that he claims were accidents.
Oh, that was just a straight up joke.
Oh wow. Well, you nailed it.
From the dome.
So, but it's like it's not as fun, the real story, but it's also kind of more fun.
Fun? People are dead, dude.
Entertaining. Yeah, these people were going to be dead anyway. This was in 1800 and something.
That was part of the joke. Thank you.
Okay. I'm not moving on yet.
I have been drinking.
So, here's the story of America's first serial killer, who is actually America's okayest con man.
That's the American way.
Okay, all right. I know.
You know?
I know.
H.H. Holmes
Holmes?
was born Herman Webster Mudgett.
What?
I
forgot.
was expecting that to get a little something. On May 16th, 1861.
Dude, you can't say that anymore.
Mudgett.
Dude,
Mudgett?
you can't say that anymore.
What a terrible name.
Yes, I can.
Like, even for that standard, like 1800s. That's
well,
a
his
bad
great-great-grandson is still alive and claiming that he was Jack the Ripper. So...
Would you want to claim that? Yeah. No, I would.
I mean, it's enough generations, right? We'll get to that later. Herman, was the third of 5 children, and although some sources will say that he exhibited behaviors typically associated with psychopathy or antisocial behavior...
Is that where you kill cats?
Yeah, that kind of thing. There's no actual evidence to support that. He was alleged to have abused animals when he was young, but his mom said he loved animals, and she never saw that at all. There was a rumor that he refused eye contact whenever possible, but he actually had a condition in his left eye that caused loss of muscle control. So...
I just had a real goofy image of it just going all over just
My
whenever.
name's Herman. Yeah, that's basically him. But surprisingly, he did okay for himself, and we're going to talk about that. And I mean, in whatever way you're thinking of it. Let's see. So he graduated at 16, which I'm going to bet wasn't hard to do back then.
I don't know. You either graduated early or you didn't graduate.
Have you seen that tweet about being a doctor in old-timey times?
No.
How rad it would be? You got ghosts in your blood. You should do cocaine about it.
Yeah. Classic.
So he graduated at 16. He married his first wife, Clara. At 18, he enrolled in University of Vermont, but he left shortly after. He did graduate from the University of Michigan, though, in their Department of Medicine and Surgery. Mm-hmm. So he is Dr. Holmes, or Mudgett.
Dr. Holmes.
The following year, Mudgett, who had taken on the name Henry Howard Holmes, moved to Chicago. The timeline in Chicago gets really confusing, and I did my best with it.
Question, real quick. So back then, to change your name, you just changed it, I assume?
I think he just started telling people that.
Yeah, like I feel like that's what you could do.
Yeah,
okay.
Like Bailey does with his Twitter name every week.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So he moved to Chicago, which, man, he's got to be like one of the only people to ever do that on purpose. And it gets confusing after Chicago, but I'm going to do my best to put it all in order and hit all the important parts.
I'd appreciate that.
Because, boy, we're getting there.
Is that a B-O-Y or B-O-I?
Yes.
Okay.
So when Holmes moved to Chicago, he began work at a drugstore. And the legend goes that he murdered the elderly couple that owned the drugstore and took over as the new owner.
As one does.
As one does.
Couldn't he just coax him into selling it to him?
In reality, Holmes proved himself to be a hard worker and eventually bought the store from the couple who were just a few years older than himself and also went to Michigan University.
Then they shouldn't have paid him so well.
Yeah, I guess not. I think they wanted to retire in their 20s. They both did confirmed live into the early, or like well into the 20th century for that time. They lived their life, you know. He didn't kill them. But
kill him with kindness.
Shortly after that, he met and married Myrta Belknap.
Wait, hold on. What happened to the
Oh, she's still there. They're still married.
Oh, so you didn't just skip that
This
piece.
is his second wife at the same time.
Nice.
And they had a
Good for
daughter
him.
named Lucy. That's never going to come up again. Don't worry about it.
I feel like it is now.
No, it's not.
She just made babies later on, and now they're like, hey, he was Jack the Ripper.
He had a son with Clara, and that's the great-grandfather of the person who's claiming that.
Never
now.
mind.
Yes. So that was
Dude.
like his child, Henry
Keep
Mudgett,
it in your pants.
or something.
I mean, I guess they're married, but it's cool, but like...
Yeah.
Did he just wear 2 wedding bands?
I would think he just like kept the one, and he was like, yeah, that's for her.
Did
Whichever one you're thinking about.
did she know the other wife?
No.
Oh, okay.
So Clara did not go to Chicago with him.
Oh.
That's also kind of important.
Why?
It doesn't say.
Is that common? Just
I think he was like, hey, I'm going to go make us
Goodbye,
some money.
family.
Send it back here.
oh, okay.
But
yeah.
then he bought the store, so he's like established.
Yeah, but he already forgot about her.
Cute.
For now. So, now we're going to introduce the murder castle. I'm just going to introduce it for the sake of storytelling. I'll get back into the details of it at the end because there's stuff about it to talk about, right? But basically, across the street from the drugstore that he had bought, he constructed a 3-story building, and the first floor was to be shops and another drugstore that he was going to move to. And then the second floor was going to be apartments, and the third floor was going to be a hotel.
Pretty nifty.
Very diverse. And he did that, kind of. The third floor never really got finished 100%, even though it did. It depends on which article you're reading of the 9. But that's all we need to know for now, right?
I hope so.
I
You're in
assume.
charge.
Cool. Yes. Remember those 200 people he killed?
Supposedly.
Well,
Allegedly.
How am I going to remember if I don't even know their names?
yeah, don't worry about it. Because actually, he only claimed 27.
Right.
And actually, there are only 9 canonical victims.
Oh.
That's a lot still. Let's
Well,
take
yeah.
it back for a sec.
That
I don't
is
know
a
why,
lot.
I don't know why, like, 200 to 27, whatever. 27 to 9, like, ooh, that's like a realistic number. I don't know why that one was like, oh,
Yeah.
dude.
So instead of half the jar mayo, just like a fourth.
Like
He
you just
a
put
whole
some mayo on
spoon
your
of
food.
mayo in his mouth on purpose.
Like you put some mayo on something and then you're like, I
Well,
ate this whole jar.
You know, at some point, something's just like so ridiculous. You're like, yeah, whatever. But then it's like tangible in a way, and it's like, what? Why? Oh,
9. And okay, so to be fair,
that's more than Jack the Ripper, maybe.
the 9 are not proven. And there are some that he didn't claim, and there are some stories, but it's widely regarded that these are the 9 people he actually killed.
Of course.
Okay.
So let's start. Y'all want to hear about them?
Yes, please.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, we're gonna
Well, let's
wrap it
keep
up here.
So the first 2 victims were Julius Smith, spelled like Smythe. You know how they did back then. I didn't write that in the notes. That's just off the dome.
I'm proud of you.
And her 9-year-old daughter, Pearl.
Oh no!
Yeah.
You gotta stay away from kids.
Can I get a spelling on that pearl?
Yes, it's like Pearl, like they did back then.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like that.
Well, there could be an extra E. That sounds right for the time.
Nah, I got nothing. So, Smith was the wife of Ned Connor, a jeweler who moved into Holmes' building and worked at the drugstore.
He fell in love with him.
Upon discovering that his wife was having an affair with their landlord, Holmes,
Oh.
Connor moved away. I guess, as you do when you have a daughter and commitments and a job. He just left.
I mean, but like at some point.
No, that's a terrible thing to discover.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. That would be awkward. And that's your landlord.
That's to say the least, yeah.
And your boss, because he also worked at the drugstore.
Right.
Don't know how I would handle it. But he does have...
I'd probably leave too.
If I have a kid, then that's more important than whatever.
It's just
you know?
so easy to walk out of somebody's life back then. Like, you just move a town over and you're
All you-
gone forever.
All you have to do is tell people you're someone else.
yeah.
and
yeah,
that's
you're
it.
just like, this is my name. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, never heard of him.
Now you gotta like block him on Twitter and. it's a whole
Yeah.
thing.
But he didn't have to do any of that. And Julia stayed behind to continue her affair with Holmes. Because I guess what else are you going to do, you know? She gained custody of their daughter Pearl, her and Ned.
Right.
Not her and Holmes.
Okay.
He has the 2 other kids. And also the 2 wives.
2 wives.
Yes, while this is happening.
He's doing
Wait.
well.
Yes.
2 wives and a side chick.
And there's not a lot to talk about other than Julia and Pearl disappeared on Christmas Eve, 1891.
That's a bad time.
Their bodies were eventually found when... All right, so there's... A lot of this goes unnoticed for a while, and then one day they find, like, everything, right? And so their bodies were found during that, buried on the property of the hotel. Holmes claimed that Julia died during a botched abortion, but he gave no comment on Pearl. So this is one of the ones that he claims was an accident.
Okay.
Ready for the next one?
That's still murder, even if it's a botched.
Well,
Like,
I think it's
or...
I think it's malpractice at that
Yeah.
point because he is a doctor.
Tell me about this next one.
The next one is named Emmeline Sigrand.
That's too close to my name.
Yes. Emmeline worked for Holmes and eventually
Wait,
ended
wouldn't
up
it be
having a
Emmeline?
romantic relationship with him.
So, was he just...
Yeah. Yeah, basically, that's what he did. She also went missing, and eventually someone came forward saying that Holmes and an accomplice who was the caretaker for his building were seen carrying what looked like a body out the day after she went missing.
That'll do it.
Yeah, that was never verified. But Holmes claimed he did eventually take responsibility for her death, but he claimed that she died during a botched abortion.
He should get better at those, huh?
Yeah, I don't know why people keep going to him. Also, like, I would just outsource that, you know? Anyway.
No, you can't fail twice in a row, Pop. No way.
He's trying to boost his stats. So, the next 2 are sisters.
No.
These are the 2 that he doesn't claim.
Okay.
But we're pretty sure he did it. Here's why. Minnie and Annie Williams.
He was sleeping with both of them.
Well, that's not verified, but he was sleeping with Minnie.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Minnie was an actress that moved to Chicago. Holmes claimed to have met her in an employment office and offered her a job as a stenographer. His
Okay.
personal stenographer. Which, like,
That's not...
why? You know? Just to document what he says in shorthand all day?
That sounds like a nightmare.
Well, okay. If he was practicing as a doctor, then it could be for that. Because, like...
Yeah.
They do record stuff like that sometimes.
Yes, but...
But he wasn't.
I think he's a fake doctor. That's my new theory.
Uh,
He was just like, this feels right.
he never really... Like, he practiced a little bit, but he didn't really do anything.
Not
with
enough. He got rusty.
It. Yeah,
That's
apparently.
2 botched abortions in a row.
So,
I mean,
Holmes...
what are good stats?
0. Botched
Zero's the
abortions.
best.
That's fair.
Holmes convinced Minnie to transfer the deed to her property in Fort Worth, Texas, to a man named Alexander Bond. But Bond
I love
was
that
actually
musical.
just an alias that Holmes used for grifts and cons and stuff.
That'll do it, yeah.
So he got that. And this property would eventually be transferred to his friend, Ben Petezel, who will come up later. Following that, Holmes and Minnie got an apartment together in Lincoln Park.
Great band.
Where I imagine they felt very numb.
Stop.
Why?
Move on from the
They
joke.
were just trying to live their lives, okay? But in the end,
It doesn't
really matter.
okay.
Okay.
So we're done with that. Minnie's sister Annie came to visit and wrote a letter back to their aunt that she planned to travel with Holmes and Minnie to Europe. But the 2 were never seen alive again after July 5th, 1893.
That was a fireworks accident.
Probably. Botched abortion. Anyway,
Combine the 2.
so Holmes never took blame for this. What he claimed was that Minnie flew into a jealous rage when Annie came to visit and killed her with a bar stool, and then he helped Minnie flee the country.
Mm-hmm.
No one can disprove that, I guess.
I guess, yeah.
But I didn't find anything about their remains being found.
Yeah.
They just were never heard from again, neither of them. So at the same exact time, the time he probably killed them both.
Yeah.
So after that, Holmes married his third wife at the same time, Georgiana Yoke.
So we're at 6 women?
Yeah. Potentially 7. We don't know about Annie.
That's true. And
Anything
we don't
goes.
know. These are just the ones that were recorded, too.
Yeah, definitely. The ones he murdered. And the ones he married.
So I guess you wouldn't really want to be on that list.
No. And one thing I read was that the common thread between all of his wives were some of them were attractive, but all of them were wealthy.
Oh.
So then he married Georgiana Yoke. He did a little bit of traveling, got arrested a little bit for doing crimes and stuff,
Y'all have been
and ended up in Philadelphia. And that's where the crazy part starts.
What part of Philadelphia?
Probably West
Philadelphia?
West Philadelphia. But he wasn't born and raised there.
Got it.
I just want to go
So it
home.
probably didn't play on any of the playgrounds. Probably didn't spend most of his days there.
No.
You know, I flew into Philadelphia.
He wasn't hanging
it was
out
terrible.
maxing.
I was only there for like an hour.
I flew into
An
New
hour
Jersey,
too
so I
long.
don't want to hear it.
Then I flew into Cleveland.
Hey, you leave Machine Gun Kelly alone. He loves that place for some reason.
He can have it.
Go back to Cleveland, Cleveland.
Drink.
All right, so I wanted to open that before the crazy part starts, because now the crazy part starts.
Did he get involved with a couple of guys? Okay, that's it.
I don't believe you.
They were up to no good.
There it is.
All right, so remember that guy Ben Petezel?
Yes.
Yes, I know you do. Norman, did you?
Oh, no, I forgot.
Okay.
What about Stacy?
Huh?
Lucy, sorry.
Lucy? Oh, she's never coming up again.
Damn it.
That was the child.
So Ben Petezel was an accomplice of Holmes, along with his wife and potentially their 3 children.
There's a third one now?
Yeah, well,
Stacy.
Petezel's kids.
yeah, Petezel's
And
kids.
wife. Okay.
I read that there were as many as 5, but there were only 3 that were involved. I don't know.
They need a hobby.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess they got one. Murder.
But they might have all been in on this grift that's coming up. They met in prison, Holmes and Petezel, while Holmes was bragging about all the cons and stuff that he's done. Which, not well. He was in prison. So.
There is that, isn't there?
But they hatched a plan. And Ben's wife was in on it. That's important. Because the plan was they were going to set Ben up as an inventor in Philadelphia and have him die in a horrible explosion. Fake his death, obviously. Use a body.
Quote unquote.
And,
obviously.
Well, yeah, it seems obvious. And then his wife was going to collect their $10,000 life insurance policy.
Which is a lot of money.
It's like $300,000 or something like that.
Pretty good amount of money.
Yeah, and they were going to split it up, and that was the con, right? And Holmes's job was to get a dead body, cut it up, and pass it off as Ben's. And
Easy.
you know what?
One job.
Easy.
Holmes thought to himself, you know who
body.
looks a lot like Ben? Ben. So
Very good joke.
So he killed him and then administered chloroform to him post-mortem for whatever reason. And
Makes
Make
you
sure
smell
he's
better.
tired.
yes, and then covered him with benzene and set him on fire.
Benzene.
Okay,
Okay, that just makes it.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Tanner.
You could
Thank you.
just leave it. You could just not say anything, and that would make me feel better.
So Holmes later, when he
Perfect. Yeah.
was talking about this, insinuated that he knocked him out with chloroform and set him on fire while he was still alive. However, the autopsy reports at the time show that the chloroform was administered post-mortem, potentially like in an attempt to try to pass it off as like an accident or a suicide or something. I don't understand the logic.
That doesn't make any sense.
And I think maybe that's just bad medicine at the time, you know,
Yeah.
like that Bon Jovi song. But
So many
whatever.
references tonight.
I don't know that song.
The consensus
either.
was that it was administered post-mortem. Either way, Ben was dead. Cool. Holmes collected the policy and told Petezel's wife that he would reunite them. Yes, that he would reunite them.
Wait, does she know he's dead?
No, they
Okay.
identified the body, but they thought it was a fake one. So, He said that he would reunite them. He said that Ben was in London waiting for them, but he didn't think the kids should be involved in the grift just yet. So he convinced her to leave her kids in the care of his friend, Minnie Williams, who
Good old Minnie.
was dead for a year at this point.
Oh,
Yeah. So what he actually
to claim
did...
them as a dependent?
No, he just needed to come up with a name, and he was like, "Who did I kill most recently? Minnie." So this is where it gets really crazy, because I'm imagining this as like a cartoon, and in my head, it's honestly hilarious. Holmes, using a series of disguises and aliases, escorted Mrs. Petezel. She doesn't know she's Miss yet, to Canada, while convincing her to leave the kids behind with Minnie. He then escorted the kids on a parallel route at the same time to Canada without either party knowing about the other.
So
How?
what is the point?
Wait. Also, while this was going on, his wife, Georgiana, was accompanying him and had no idea about either other party. None of the
Quick question.
three knew any of the other three were there.
What's the point of not having the kids with her?
I don't know. The man's doing this.
He just wanted to see if he could.
Yeah, I guess so. So they would often end up on the same train or even staying in the same hotels, but they never crossed paths.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
are you?
Now that
my,
I think about it.
my man's out here duping,
Yeah, he's
Three-
doing some like Pink Panther nonsense.
and I can't get away with liking some
Wait.
woman's Instagram photo. What is this?
Wait,
That was
I
a
need
joke.
help.
Okay. The Pink Panther was a
No,
TV
I
okay.
know the Pink Panther.
Wait, which
What's
Pink
that
Panther are we talking about? Are we talking
I've
about the
seen all of
cartoon
them.
or
I've
with?
seen all of them. That's one
Both.
thing. Got it covered. What is that Robin Williams movie?
Men in Tights.
Which one?
That was Robin Williams.
That was Carrie
Jumanji?
Elwes.
Aladdin.
No! Oh my. Where he's.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yes! Thank you.
Oh, dang it. I
Oh,
was trying
you're picturing Mrs. Doubtfire? I was picturing like Catch Me If You Can.
No,
like-
I'm picturing like he's Mrs. Doubtfire with the kids, and then
Hello.
and then like someone completely different over here, and then with his wife, he's just like.
Yeah. So, hey, where have you been all day?
I was trying to make a movie reference. See, I can do it too.
But then
But you couldn't.
I couldn't because I forgot, and then also now that I've thought about it some more, not the same.
see, but
I
hilarity
tried.
ensues because he'll go to one group and like he still has like the wig on. He's like, oh, and then he goes to another. He still has the makeup, and it's a great movie.
It is. It is.
So this is going to get dark now, just so you know.
So we're
How
saying
many people have died so far?
No
and now
joke.
it's getting dark?
Eventually, the kids became too much for him.
Uh-oh.
I know how that is.
Uh-oh.
So he drilled a hole in the top of a van in which he trapped the two daughters and ran gas into it with a hose until they suffocated. And their bodies were found buried at a rental house in Toronto. The son, Howard, was poisoned with drugs from a local drugstore, and his body was cut up into pieces and burned in the fireplace, where they found bones and teeth in that same house
Yeah, you
in
can't
Toronto.
burn those. That's the trick.
It's true.
You gotta
Anyway,
just feed those to pigs.
yeah.
Eat the bones.
Yeah, they'll
bet
eat
they
anything.
So anyway, that's what happened with them. I think that
Wait,
brings
aren't
us
there
up to
two other children?
huh?
Aren't there two
Potentially,
other
but they weren't
Okay.
mentioned.
Okay.
So I think that brings us up to 9. Right?
I wasn't counting, to be honest with you.
Well, I hope so, because
More than 4, less than 11.
well, he did 4 Petezels, and then the 2 sisters
Okay.
is 6,
And the two, yeah.
and then the mother and daughter is 8, and then the one other one 9.
That you haven't told us about yet.
No. She was the second one, Emmeline.
Ah, yes.
Yes. So at this point, a few things were going on, right?
Murder.
The insurance company had grown suspicious of all the money they just handed out.
What? No.
And they hired a private investigator to look into the case.
And then he died.
Yes.
The Philadelphia police were also looking into Holmes for some reason, and they actually were the ones who went up to Toronto and found the people in the house. And I can't stress enough how maybe this next part didn't happen, but allegedly Holmes also went home to Clara, his first wife, to whom he claimed to have been in a train accident and had been suffering from amnesia for 6 years. And he married Georgiana because that was his nurse who was helping him through his amnesia. And his son and Clara were just so happy to have seen him again that everyone just kind of went with it.
I think I heard that somewhere too.
Yes. I did. That's why it's in here.
Yeah, thank you.
So, Holmes was arrested in Boston on November 17th, 1894, and was held on, and you'll never guess this, I promise, an outstanding warrant for horse theft in Texas. This is what they held him on while they tried to put together everything else.
Horse theft was actually one of the worst crimes of the day.
Yeah, it's like Grand Theft Auto.
There was murder, horse theft, and then adultery.
That's probably... Actually, you might bump adultery up one.
No.
It might be worse than
Not
horse
in
theft.
Texas. This is coming from a former horse girl.
True.
You gotta trust me.
So, he was convicted for the murder of Ben Petezel and sentenced to death, which is fair. But before he died, for whatever reason, he sold his confession for $7,500.
Anything to make a
which
quick
is about
buck.
$230,000 today, to the Hearst newspapers. In his confession, he claimed to have murdered over 27 people, as well as 6 attempted murders in Chicago, Indianapolis, and Toronto. However, many of his alleged victims were still alive when he made this claim.
Very cool.
Or died in ways that were not at all
names.
Suspicious, or when he wasn't in town.
He's on death row, and
he's just throwing stuff out.
Where does his money go? Does he give it?
I have no idea. Well, maybe to London with him.
When he turned into Jack the Ripper.
So, Holmes was hanged on May 7th, 1896.
Or was he?
His great-grandson, Jeff Mudgett, now claims in his new book that's for sale, which is probably why he's doing this. I don't want to throw out accusations, but he's selling a book.
He's making money.
That's why he's doing this. Yeah. That he found diary entries from Holmes claiming to have tricked a man into going to the gallows for him that day and then escaping.
I have another question. How... End question.
I don't know.
You like Huckleberry Finn?
Yeah, I mean, this is also the guy that was married to 3 women and also having affairs. He was probably good with his words,
but that's a different thing than hey, go die for me.
I don't know.
Hey, look, I just need you to go over there, stand there,
pretend you're me,
and then you walk away, and you're good.
I'll give you $7,000 if you go through with it.
He's keeping 500 of it.
Well, yeah, you can't.
So,
you got to be like, I got to feed my family, but then you're going to keep all of it because he's going to die.
Yeah, that's fair. So why wouldn't you offer all of it?
Because I just said a number, okay?
So in the letters, he also claims to have spent some time in London, killing prostitutes. Or not letters, diary entries. Right?
Haven't we all,
Jack the Ripper. This, however, was debunked when Holmes' body was exhumed from his concrete burial tomb. Which, by the way,
you gotta do
he
that
requested
so that
to be buried in concrete.
Don't come back to life.
So that no one would mess with his body the way that he messed with bodies. Because, and I forgot to mention this earlier, he was the myth that he made the partnership with the funeral home and to practice on bodies. That all actually comes from the fact that he would steal bodies and then mangle them and try to pass them off as dead bodies for insurance fraud. Just that was his thing.
A lot, but he was really good at it.
Yeah, it worked a few times and didn't work a few times. He even tried to do it with himself. He tried to collect on his own life insurance policy with a dead body.
That's right. He's just a man of opportunity.
Yes, but he's dead.
For now.
So,
supposedly.
His body was exhumed and they tested it and it's definitely him.
Yeah.
There's no chance that he was Jack the Ripper. He died that day.
I have my own theories about Jack the Ripper.
But I didn't talk about the murder castle much.
Murder castle.
So
that's the
they call it the murder castle because the newspapers at the time were going crazy talking. They had nicknames for different rooms. And they're talking about gas chambers and trapdoors and halls that don't go anywhere.
That's pretty cool.
And like some real like
Winchester
Mansion stuff, you know? Some of this has some truth to it, for sure. The layout is intentionally confusing, although it's also just kind of poorly designed. But it's intentionally confusing, but not to trap people in there so he can murder them. It was intentionally confusing so that Repo Man couldn't find all the stolen crap he was hiding in there.
Very good.
So much of it. There was a story about a guy who saw into a room that was filled to the door with furniture, and then the next day it was empty when someone came looking for it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that's what it was for. Also, the company that he paid to furnish his, what do you call it, hotel, he got all the furniture, didn't cut the check to him, and then sold all the furniture to other people. And then when they came looking for it, they couldn't find anything because it was so confusing. That was the whole game there. That's where he hid all his stolen merchandise.
At that point, is that worth it? Is that worth the effort?
I mean, he was doing okay for himself for a little while.
Yeah.
Although he was doing
hanged.
his best when he just worked hard at the drugstore and bought it.
Yeah, he did do that, didn't he?
That's like pretty wild. Like he was a good worker.
And he's smart enough to come up with this stuff and even pull it off sometimes. Like, he's probably smart enough to just do fair, dishonest business, but like the kind that's only dishonest enough to not get arrested.
Maybe you get bored sometimes of just the same old, so you're like, what if?
Well, he did claim himself, allegedly, that his face was changing in prison to represent the demon that he is.
At that point, though, that could just be like...
He also claimed to murder 27 people, and also it's not confirmed that he even said that. Because newspapers are wild.
They were written to sell.
I blame the 24-hour news cycle.
Well, they didn't have that back then. Except in London, they do have like...
Last thing I want to talk about.
What do you want to talk about?
Finish, but I just remembered.
Like, there's 3 different newspapers throughout the day.
Yeah, that's good,
just,
I
like,
guess,
printed,
or whatever.
And it's like, how do you do that? Like,
the last thing about the murder castle. So his 200 victims reportedly came from the Chicago World's Fair in 1893, right? Except he didn't live in that part of town during the Chicago World's Fair in 1893.
You get lost.
He only came to the hotel one time during that, and it was because there was a fire and he needed to come there as the owner. But also,
to take care of
the
that.
fire was probably an insurance scam.
Like my uncle.
I don't know about that.
Are you saying your uncle
is an insurance scam?
Are you saying your uncle's a
He should've
fire?
tried. No. He's my fun uncle, my funkle.
So yeah, he didn't live in town, and there were no registered guests during the World's Fair.
Now, that's just silly.
Because the third floor never officially opened as a hotel.
That makes sense, I guess, but like, that's missing out on some... Like, he could have probably made just as much money selling those rooms for like
just
a huge
open a
price.
legitimate hotel.
Make
It's a lot of
money.
work. I could just, instead
but when
pull some kind of
it's just
ruse.
I
Pull a
kind
ruse.
of understand though, because I I can't go home the same way too many days in a row or I get anxious. So not really anxious, I just get like antsy. I want to like change it up. So maybe he was like, simple insurance fraud, too easy, too boring. I need to get creative.
Murder.
Let's go create this murder house, this maze. That way,
And
no one will be even
fill it with remaindered furniture.
I can use it to hide things that are of value to me and other people, and I'll just sell it.
But yeah, no, I mean the newspapers claimed ridiculous things though. Like, it's wild how out of control this story got. They were claiming that he would capture live people and then drop them through chutes to the basement where he would torture them while they were still alive until he burned their bodies.
Yeah.
All of that came from, they found some ashes in a fireplace in Toronto.
Didn't he burn that child?
Yeah. In Toronto. fair and square in a living room. No chutes, no trap doors.
Fair and square.
I don't like how you say fair and square to that.
You know what I mean. It was blown out of proportion. All right, but that's pretty much all I got.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very neat.
What a wild ride. So
Wasn't it?
what is your
So you don't even believe in serial killers at this point, huh?
I guess not.
what's your perception of Holmes before and after the research?
Before the research, like awesome. Not like awesome, but like
Like Jack the Ripper.
a crazy
Interesting.
story.
Definitely making a face.
Like murder hotel.
Yeah.
I would love to visit it and see the trapdoors and all that stuff. And now it's like, what an average con man in the 1800s. Like,
No, he built a whole building just to be confusing.
yeah, but like
What a man that's dedicated to the craft.
anyone can just put up a curtain in front of whatever they're trying to hide. That's basically what he did. He just did it with wood.
That's a wall.
Yeah. But I don't know. I had as much fun with the story when I read the facts, but it was a totally different kind of fun.
Yeah.
You know? There was the element of wonder, I guess, was replaced with an element of laughing at what actually happened. Because he just kind of fumbled his way to getting arrested. Most of the murders occurred within like a 3-year span, and most of that time was spent convincing everyone to go to Canada. Like,
Let's get on a train, these 3 separate groups,
yes.
with a series of disguises.
But that part's cool, and I'm imagining like like he's the guy checking them into the hotel, and then he walks like Roger from American Dad. Yeah, that's what I'm picturing.
But did he go with them all as like himself?
Yeah.
In just different outfits?
No, same outfit. He would just like, he'd be like, all right, kids, I'm going to go to the cafe. I'll be right back. And then he'd go to their mom and be like, yeah, I've been at the cafe this whole time.
That's such a...
But where's your food?
That's just so ballsy, right? Just at any point.
But it
Totally
works.
unnecessary.
That's what I'm saying. like
He could have taken
He
his
just got
wife
bored.
and Ben's wife and the kids and been like, hey,
let's all go to Canada
we gotta go.
together.
Let's go. And they could have
Hey,
just all
I'm
gone.
helping my friend go to Canada. Would you like to come with me, wife?
Easy
Done.
enough.
But no, you can't do it. You gotta get creative.
I, for one, am impressed.
I'm
It's hard not to admire that part of the story. But then the fact that he still got caught, and like that was what he got caught for.
Well, just imagine too, like if
And
this
also
is the guy that got caught, just imagine the people that didn't get caught that we'll never know.
He could have used a fake body, and like it probably all would have been fine.
Yeah. For that one, yeah.
Well, who's the best fake than yourself?
That's true.
Trust no one.
I
Not
don't
even
know,
yourself.
man.
Not even a shelf.
It's
Okay.
a wild story. Wild ride.
Cool.
And also, none of the articles I read agree on the facts.
No, that's typically
And like
they don't
even
do
the
that.
names. I read 3 like different versions of Minnie and Annie's names and just picked the one that I thought was probably right. They might be named Winnie and Nanny.
No,
Yeah, that didn't sound right.
I don't like that.
I mean, not nowadays, but that sounds right for that time.
Yeah, and then I also saw
Terrible.
Minnie and Anna as well.
That's fine, but not as fun.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man. But it was a crazy thing to research.
I don't believe.
In serial killer, he definitely killed people.
This part's all true.
It exists.
I just figured out what my next topic's going to be.
Okay, good. I think I have mine too. You
That is mine.
I need to look into it.
Yeah.
I need to look into it because I just have vague notions right now.
So, but what did y'all think of the story?
I'm entertained. I'm very thoroughly entertained.
It's very fun in a morbid way.
It goes from like a weird, like he started out in my head. He was kind of like a
mythological murderer.
Well, yeah, but like he was kind of like that angry look, that John Cusack gets. He was like an angry John Cusack.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, he was like Steve Martin. Like, yeah, he killed him, you know, but like...
But that's not the interesting part.
He did it in a funny costume. For sure. And I like the part where he's just like, man, I'm getting tired of these kids.
He murdered children.
He
I
did.
like that part.
But he didn't have a better reason other than, yeah, this is hard work.
Oh, God.
I wanted to be a con man to avoid hard work. But here I am.
I didn't plan this far ahead.
Here, let's do this
me get my
incredibly
drill.
difficult task to
Where
murder
did he even
the
get a
children.
van?
Where to get the van? Where to get the drill? Where to get all that?
Where do you get the gas?
The
This
gas,
was
like-
1893. Where did he get a van? I don't think Ford was making the Transit at that time. It might have been a carriage.
It's crazy he invested in a van just to drill a hole in it.
Carriage, but like
He like
carriages weren't
invented
really...
vans just to drill a hole in it.
That sounds like our man.
God, what a hard worker. Jeez.
He could have been just that guy
He
that
could have
owns the
done so much
drugstore.
more. Yeah. He could have invented Walgreens, and instead he murdered children.
Well, I like it. But even if I didn't, I wouldn't tell you.
Appreciate that. Should we move on to, I don't know, the end? What's next? Did y'all come up with stuff?
No. But my mom, she recommended a name for it. What was it? Let me look at
Y'all should come up with stuff real quick. I'll guess.
Oh, come up with stuff. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We're doing that
we gotta do
segment.
our segment, yeah.
Okay.
We didn't talk about it in the group chat because we're all in the group chat.
We are.
Whoever was supposed to be guessing would know.
Okay, cool. Tanner, close your eyes.
Mom wanted to call it like, what was it? Like lies or lore or something.
That's the thing. Every week it
lies or
changes.
lore.
It's a different thing.
You want to like take a break real quick?
Yeah, we can take a break.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's hear it.
All right. Well, every week we try to do this new segment where basically we have one true story of mythology, legend, urban legend, and then we
one
have
based on
cryptid.
real
Cryptid.
lores.
And
but
other
like,
stories.
it's not real, but
it's not real,
it's
but
real.
it's real, right? It has some base, some culture behind it.
Yeah, it had it. We didn't come up with it.
We did not come
Okay.
up with it.
It's
And then
not OC.
Then the other stories, they are complete fiction, completely like
OC.
off the top
Like
of the head
we are making it up as we go.
as we go.
Yes.
Very
Very cool. Also, I knew all this. This is just for clarification.
correct.
the
And we have
listeners,
one
Because I'm
person
not a guest.
try to
But
determine.
We don't have
Supposedly.
one
You're the guest that hosts and
in my
edits and
my
posts
apartment.
And
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
hosts on the podcast
I mean
and
my
us.
my mansion. I mean it's in my mansion.
Right.
I thought we were in a loft.
My studio.
Well, we
loft.
keep moving because
We took a break.
we took a
That's
break
true.
and then
And
we
did
we
travel.
flew to Vancouver.
We went downtown.
Toronto.
Had a few, and then
Right.
got on a plane.
Point is, Tanner is the one that is going to be guessing.
I am now. Normally we'll do two fake and one real. But
there's only three of
we're
us.
short on people today because
We could get
Bailey's
Marty to
not
guess.
here, and we didn't have another guest because Carolee wanted to play Skyrim instead.
Which I get
So-
and I respect.
Yeah, and that's fine.
I'd
You know,
be the
she's killing
same.
it. Which we should say, that's been going on the TV the whole time we've been recording, and it's been very
Go
hard
us.
not to just
Yeah.
look at it.
Oh, I've been doing it.
I've been
But
watching
I've been
it
pretty
and
good.
the computer.
I've been pretty good.
So I'm gonna guess, and one of them's gonna be real, and one of them's gonna be fake, and I don't know which one because I closed my eyes and not my ears
And his
earlier.
ears. Yes.
Emily, do you want to go?
Sure.
Okay.
All
Awesome.
right.
So this is the Dunker. It's basically like Germany's Bigfoot. It lives in the Black Forest where a bunch of weird stuff happens.
Sounds like a
How do you
cool
spell
forest.
Dunkeer.
Okay.
And I mean it's basically just Bigfoot in Germany. But the Black Forest is like a really cool place separately. But a lot of sightings of it. Never find the bodies and the rest of the Bigfoot stuff.
Is that a Bigfoot thing?
Yeah, like you don't really find corpses of Bigfoot.
Oh, like those. Like I thought you meant like victim bodies. Oh, but like you don't find dead Bigfoots.
You don't find dead Bigfoots.
Well, because when Bigfoot dies, his body is kind of like snapped away, kind of Endgame
One theory
style.
about Bigfoot is that he's interdimensional.
Returns to the Force, and all that's left is a robe.
Is there anything that you would say that might distinguish Bigfoot from?
He's prone to start world wars.
He has been at the heart of it. No,
although American Bigfoot's coming in hard this year.
Stop.
So.
Stop. Mostly that, like, Europe doesn't have a lot of Bigfoot-esque sightings, so this is kind of like a weird thing for that part of the world having... Because, like, you do, towards the east, you get more, like, Yeti stuff, but in the west part of that continuous continent, there's not a lot.
Yeah.
So.
I'm picturing that episode of Futurama where all the Scottish people are talking about the thing that sucks the bones out of all their sheep. And so that's what I'm picturing.
Is it since he's in the Black Forest, does that mean like he's like an evil Bigfoot? Like a doppelganger?
I think that's a little racist of you.
Yeah.
You know what? I retract my question.
It's just more prone to police brutality.
I like that joke.
Thank you. It could have gone either way, so thank you. Go ahead. Answer the question.
Please answer the question.
Yeah, so the things that come out of the Black Forest definitely have more of like a dark aura to them, but like a lot of the sightings, there's a lot of caves for mining and stuff. A lot of mines, you might say.
Oh, is that what those are called? Do people like craft in them?
I'm going home and I'm not finishing my story. No,
we're mining stuff to craft with and crafting stuff to mine with.
And one story I had seen was like it would not let some of the miners into the cave one time.
Oh yeah, they had to have fakes.
Stood in the way and they were like, I'm not getting
boom.
What did you say?
Let's get some sweet sunglasses.
So they have to have some fakes because they're miners and they couldn't get in. I'm going home. I'm here. I'm here.
That's the true winner of this episode right there.
I've made so many good jokes tonight.
I don't know, man. That was pretty good.
That was
thank you.
Dumb. But it stood in the way and just kind of like they didn't want to go near it because it's like,
well, yeah.
No, I'm not trying to die.
What if it was just some miners and they're like, we don't really want to work today. Let's just say Bigfoot.
You saw Bigfoot there, bro? I wouldn't have got. I saw him too. I couldn't.
Your blood. Do some cocaine about it.
But yeah, that's
okay.
Done.
All right. Okay.
Cool. So I might have I probably said this before, but I'm really into
Japanese ones.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
There's something about them that's just like,
I don't know how many of those we're gonna like.
Helps. There's a million.
There's
of them.
too many. I don't know. We need to put a hard limit on.
But
those.
like the thing is, like,
at least upwards of.
Assuming that mine is fake or real, I can literally say anything, and it's like,
yeah,
that's probably
just
real.
Yeah,
throw a Japanese sounding word.
I'm sitting here hearing about a ghost that comes through and takes people's pinky toes in their sleep.
Yeah. And
it's like, man, I don't know. That could be a thing.
That could totally be a thing.
How'd you know his thing?
I guess I'll skip that one then.
I guess I won't use that next week.
So mine is it's a ghost story, and it's Japanese folklore. This one though, it's a little more modern.
Okay.
It is called
I like those.
It's called the Kuchisaki Onna.
Okay.
That sounds racy.
Sounds like a slur.
Oh my god, what is up with you guys? And
that's
so
just my bit.
The racism?
No, that's not what I meant.
So
you should run for president.
No.
If you're ever on a very dark night, if you're ever walking alone,
As often I am.
and you
I try not to
have
leave.
a woman. So it's a woman, and
Okay.
typically she's either wearing a medical mask, surgical mask, excuse me, or something blocking her face.
Okay. But like they just do that there too.
That's
like
true.
that's a fashion thing there.
Correct.
And also I think
That's my next step
doesn't
in
it have
the
something
my
to do with
e-girl
smog?
evolution. Yes, that too.
is that why they do that?
I don't know.
Parts of it, yeah.
Or also just because it's so crowded? Who knows?
It's really crowded, and
Anyway.
then also, especially in subways, like
And
there's
facial
so
detection?
Much facial
I know that's
detection.
big in
But it's also
China.
China.
Anyway.
Yeah, but the
So yeah, but like
if
so
you're-
it's out of the
Well,
ordinary,
yeah.
but like it's not super out
yeah,
of the
it's
ordinary.
not.
Is what I'm
Or
getting
she
at.
might have something like just blocking her face.
Okay,
and
that's
she'll
what I was driving at.
Unassuming.
she'll ask you, "Do you think I'm pretty?" Now, depending on what you ask, though, determines what happens to you. Now, if you say yes, I think. No, if you say no, I don't think you're pretty. Then she'll kill you.
Okay,
Very.
Yeah, pretty
Honestly,
straightforward.
I think that's reasonable.
But if you say yes, I think you're pretty, she'll remove the mask or remove whatever's blocking her face, and you'll see that from from her mouth slits all the way to her ears, are completely cut, and she has a gaping mouth.
I'm the Joker, baby.
Want to know how I got these scars? And she'll ask again, "Do you think I'm pretty?" And if you say no, she'll cut you in half. But if you say, which will kill you,
yeah.
If for those
Unless
that
you
don't know.
become one of those ladies in Vietnam or Thailand or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
the
That take
There's
babies.
also a Toki Toki, isn't there?
I don't know what a Toki Toki is.
That's a yokai.
Oh, that's cool. I'll look that up later. But if you say yes, then in delight, she'll make you look like her and also slit your mouth from ear to ear.
So it's no real good way out of this.
As
Here's the
with
thing.
most yokai.
So,
What if I say like something else? I'm blind, so couldn't tell you.
Oh,
You sound sweet.
and then
You
she
have
gets,
a good
then
personality.
she gets really awkward, like, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
Just
and
Um,
then she just gets really quiet and leaves.
ooh,
You still
that's
there?
this is awkward. So it said that there's a couple ways to distract her, to kind of get out of it scot free. Number one,
Gotta throw them off the rhythm.
you can
carry a money clip with $20 in it.
So you can distract her by answering in a way that makes it just she's average,
Okay.
not pretty, not ugly, just average.
You're fine.
Some say you
What
can
if I
also
answer with a riddle?
like a Sphinx riddle.
Yes.
Answer these questions 3.
I don't know. Are you pretty?
Well, if you're asking me, I'm unable to lie, but my friend is unable to tell the truth. Now you only get to ask us one question.
Another way you can distract her is by throwing money at her.
You
So,
gotta throw them off the
The
rhythm.
money clip with $20.
Tanner somehow knows how to.
It's John Mulaney,
It's
man.
John
Everything we
Mulaney.
say on this podcast is just John Mulaney.
Or cartoons for adults.
Or you can throw hard candy at her.
Oh, okay.
That's a bit
That'll
rude,
distract
isn't
her,
it?
and then you run away.
Well, she's got that big mouth. She could do one of those full-size jawbreakers, you know?
Turns out it's actually
Like Ed, Ed,
James
and Eddie?
Woods. That's the Family Guy reference. Anyway,
Oh, man. I have to do it.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Ooh. That's tough. Because I don't know. Norman's is
You
creative.
gotta throw them off the rhythm.
So if he made it up, that's
Street
creative.
smarts.
And I also could have just looked up a random Japanese
quit?
word.
You could have. But also, last time, Emily's was a real thing that she just kind of adapted and threw somewhere else.
Yeah, which I'm like,
That was rough.
That was a dinosaur.
It was a koala.
Oh, that's right. I thought it was a kangaroo. Good work, Emily.
I think someone got in over her head.
Oh, these guys don't look happy.
I just looked at the screen.
He's asking if you think he's pretty.
Street Smarts.
Oh man, that's tough.
Have any questions?
Yes. Yep.
Do you want
to ask?
Yeah.
Give me a second. I got to come up with some questions.
Okay. Yeah, last time it was just a koala.
This is a giant koala that's still seen today. That's different.
Oh my god.
Okay, so this lady, right? Why the candy?
I mean,
Have you ever been pelted with candy, hard candies?
No, I was.
do you have a snack of choice?
You know why?
Tanner, what's your favorite
You know why,
snack?
Tanner? Because it
Sweet
throws
Tarts.
her.
Cool.
It throw.
If
I
I'm
was
eating
thinking-
candy, it's Sweet Tarts.
So
Okay,
if
yeah,
if
fair
like someone just takes a good old roll of Sweet Tarts and just kind of chucks it your way, you're not gonna be like, oh,
I guess I am pretty.
Tanner, you gotta throw them off their rhythm.
Okay, I guess. I mean, that's not a super satisfying answer, but
But
I have
it's
nothing.
practical.
you didn't ask for why money.
well, I
Well,
get that.
money is money.
Money's king.
What's money
What
gonna
if you throw
do
like
for a ghost?
American dollars? She's like, what's this?
She's gonna buy some new ghost stuff, you know?
Buy
At
herself
the-
a new mask.
At the ghost Walmart.
You
That's
mean
just
Walmart?
Stop.
Okay, so this Bigfoot
Yes.
from but different.
Yes.
Is there like a physical description?
Bigfoot,
He's got big feet
but different.
and he's
Okay.
hairy. He's got like dark fur because there's as you may know, like
Dark
I
fur?
do. There's like different variations.
Black
of-
Forest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean Bigfoot's
a
just
Bigfoot.
American Yeti, and then
Mhm.
it goes out from there. There's a South American one, but I can't remember.
The Yahweh, I believe.
That means Jesus.
No,
in
but it's spelled
Hebrew.
differently.
Oh, okay.
Come on, don't. First off, it was in Scooby Doo. Secondly, don't doubt me.
Scooby Doo.
That Scooby Doo had a whole little thing about it. It was very fun. But that was actually a very good movie. I'm just thinking about it now. No, but it's 8+ feet, or I should say, like about 3 meters tall.
Okay.
Um,
I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go with you.
as which one?
Real. Because I think Norman knows well enough that if he throws Japanese syllables at me,
Oh yeah.
I'll buy into it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Just because it's me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Well, let me tell you something. You shoulda.
I should have?
You shoulda.
Oh, man.
You're
that's
wrong.
a good one.
No, this is completely, I mean, air quotes, real.
I knew that one. I was like, oh man, this is gonna be too obvious.
No,
Yeah,
not for
'Cause
me.
That's one of the more well-known ones.
I need American Midwest.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
That's
Emily,
mine.
please give me some more details, man. This is sounding like.
Yeah, and then I was like, let me tell you a Mothman story I heard once.
So the idea is she was a.
This
so
was
it's
based entirely on psychology, by the way, not the actual stories. That was my guess. Had nothing to do with the stories.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's based. It's known as a modern yokai.
It's too many of those.
Yeah, right.
So many yokai.
And
Let
there's
me
another
Google
name
something.
that I cannot remember what the Japanese term for it was, but it's pretty interesting. The idea is she comes from either she used to be a wife to samurai or the wife of someone that was committed adultery, and as punishment, her husband cut her mouth from ear to ear.
Oh, okay.
Like that, yeah. I actually don't know what the candy is about. I don't.
Oh,
but
that was
there was a specific candy though
no, yeah, it like
that might have helped.
that I didn't know.
No, like the specific candy.
Yeah,
I might have been like, well, that's too specific.
yeah. So I was like, ooh, look. I've kind of made it so that I was like, oh, I'm
Okay.
just gonna pretend like, even though I really didn't know. Yeah, there's a specific candy that you're supposed to throw, and it just distracts her.
They just carry that just
mean,
in
some
case,
people,
you know.
some people do carry it in their pockets to avoid her.
It's not bad, yeah. And it's weird because this isn't the only yokai that just randomly asks you questions. Typically,
I like the one with the toilet paper, where it's like, you want red or blue? And the red, they like pull out your insides, and the blue, they cut off your head. So you gotta go, I'm just gonna air dry.
Neither of those is great.
but it's just like
I also don't know if that one's like 100% or if that one's just like a copy pasta.
it's just interesting that there's so many Japanese spirits out there that are just very inquisitive.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
want to
that
know.
was odd.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that one, though. What are you doing over there?
I'm Googling how many yokai there are, and I'm not getting a straight answer.
How many ghosts are there in American history?
That's like,
At least 12.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. This says that a lot of yokai and traditional folklore are like mixed together nowadays. People just kind of use it interchangeably, but it's not the case.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Interesting.
I do want to talk about the Black Forest at some point, and there is a really cool Mothman story from it. And
How is there a
Missed it.
Mothman story when it's
Because
Because
country?
eagles are everywhere.
What kind of eagle?
Where you
Harpy.
sit.
Ah. That was our segment.
Anyway, that's about time.
Is that our show?
That's the show.
Good series, guys.
It's fun.
We had fun.
I did.
Yeah.
We
Retirement's
we
gonna
lost,
be sweet.
we loved. We talked a lot about Family Guy.
Can't wait to completely forget this and y'all make references next week that I totally forgot. And then you make fun of me for it.
There is a
Holmes.
documentary on Hulu. I don't recommend it. I turned it off within a couple of minutes because it was ridiculous.
Who was it? Do you remember who did it?
It was a independent British film, and they were doing like dramatizations, and it was all just it was not
Pretty
it wasn't
bad, yeah.
good. Yeah.
I think
And also-
Astonishing Legends did an episode.
Yes, and that's
Yeah.
where I initially I seen the previews for it, and when you said that he actually didn't, I was like, oh, this is all coming to me.
Astonishing Legends
Yeah.
is a podcast that I keep talking about.
No, but there is also all right, whatever.
There's lore. Like
There's-
that's a different podcast that he has an Amazon show now. It's not very good.
Supernatural did an episode about it.
Yeah,
They used their shotguns in it.
you told us at the beginning, at the top.
That's basically what they do.
Yeah, that's all they do. They just do it in different locations with different looking monsters. You can have the rest of mine.
I'm sick, excuse my voice.
There's a lot in there. Drive home.
That's our show.
That's a show.
I think maybe we should do a little bit of outros.
Okay. I'm Tanner.
Are you
been
still
fun.
Tanner?
No, that's a different thing. That's on a different show.
No, I know, but your Twitter. I was trying to.
Oh, that
segue.
is my Twitter.
I was trying to segue
Gosh,
into
damn
your
it.
Twitter.
I'm not on there enough. I say something every now and then, but it's not important. But I am I'm still Tanner on Twitter. No punctuation, no caps. I couldn't secure anything better than that.
You couldn't get at Tanner.
I couldn't get at still Tanner. I couldn't get it's. I don't want to talk about it. Okay.
Sorry to bring it up.
The guy who has what I wanted hasn't tweeted since like 2013.
I hear that.
Brother.
That's one of the reasons that I changed my username to what it is, which is at Ninja Squirrel, NJASQRL. It used to be Ninja
What a
Squirrel
good
97. And I wanted to just be Ninja Squirrel like spelled out all the way, so I didn't have to spell it every single time. Hasn't tweeted since 2012.
Tight.
So, at least last I checked, maybe they've
Wait,
they've
was
turned into a spam account since then. But I'm also on Twitch and Instagram, Ninja Squirrel NJASQRL.
Norman, who are you?
I'm Norm. I'm Unhappy Bananas. You can find me. Just Google Unhappy Bananas. You can find me on anything.
He's on TikTok.
Dude, I made
on
one.
TikTok
I
now.
made one TikTok video.
It's a pretty good
It was
TikTok.
pretty good. So like that. I need the confidence.
I'll go right now and like it for you.
Appreciate
I
that.
won't. I don't have the
You'll
app.
you'll have to let me know when you do post because I don't go on TikTok.
No one
That's fair.
does. It's Chinese spyware. Good
Also, I
night,
like that
everybody.
song.
Good night.
Good night. Sorry, Mom.
Oh yeah, we do that.
Luke.